I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu?
Here.
Mr. Sismar?
Here.
Mr. Hahn?
Here.
Mrs. Lax?
Here.
Mrs. Reese? Mr. Seeler? Mr. Simmons? Mr. Winston?
Here.
And President Becker.
Here, we have a quorum. Before we rise, I'm going to ask us all to remain standing after the Pledge of Allegiance for a moment of silence, which will be observed in the memory of Lucy Bertono, who is a beloved secretary at Irwin Elementary School. Our thoughts are with her loved ones. So after the pledge, please remain standing. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend meetings. In accordance with the provisions of this act, we've caused notice of this meeting to be published at the Board of Education offices. Written notice was also provided to the Sentinel, the Newark Star Ledger, the Home News and Tribune, and Municipal Clerk of East Brunswick. All Board of Education meetings, with the exception of executive session discussions, are videotaped for later broadcast. Individuals who speak at the board's public meeting should be aware of those videotaping rules. Good evening, everyone. Dr. Valesky, do you have a superintendent's report for us tonight?
I don't have a superintendent's report, but I do have a couple of remarks for the general public, just for clarification. We've certainly been aware of some concerns expressed after the budget adoption about the reduction in some of the staffing positions, and specifically the media specialist. And I just wanted to restate that this was a very, very tough budget that was created. It has to be balanced by law. And unfortunately, this year, we had positions that were affected when we made recommendations to balance the budget. And so clearly, we had some opportunities where we had staff reductions through retirement or any kind of personal leave where we could possibly look at those options without physically affecting an individual. So I wanted to assure the community that we will have a media specialist in every single one of our schools next school year. And we will not have 2 media specialists at each of our secondary schools. That was a decision that was very tough. But we had to make other cuts that were, in some cases, even tougher. We lost administrative positions, we lost secretarial positions, we lost teaching positions. So I know it's hard to fathom that we would have to cut positions, but we feel like we are in a position to make recommendations to the board that at least for this next fiscal year, we are going to be in a position that we can still service all of the students, and we will be working with the staff, and we will support every one of those media specialists in their assignments at each of our 11 Blue Ribbon schools. So again, I wanted to assure everybody that no one lost a position, and we will have a media specialist in every one of our schools.
Thank you, Dr. Valesky. When you said no one lost a position,
No media specialist was physically cut or reduced in force.
right, so the positions were eliminated, but the people in them
3 positions
still have
were-
jobs in the school district.
Right, they do.
Okay.
They are in media positions.
Yes, so we cut positions. We cut the 3 media specialist positions, but the 3 people in that job still have jobs in our district in the area of media.
No,
Oh.
there were 3 positions that were eliminated.
Right. I
But
meant,
two of those people have opted for retirement and will be leaving us. And we have another position that they will not be with us for reasons that I can't disclose, will not be with us next school year. So we will have 3 people that are leaving the roles, the employment roles.
Okay.
For next year.
Sorry if I
And we
misstated.
reduced 3 positions for next school year. But we will have a media specialist in every one of our schools.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to completely confuse the issue with restating it. Okay. For the good of the cause for the public, the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues. To allow for a fair and orderly comment period, individual comments are limited to 5 minutes. Members of the public are reminded this is a public televised meeting, and to protect the privacy of all students and staff, concerns regarding individual students and staff members should generally be addressed by first meeting with the appropriate administrative staff. Is there anybody who wishes to address the Board of Education? Please come forward, name and address for the record. Thank you.
Sure. My name is Catherine Nguyen. I live at Old Tenant Court. I have 2 children in the Warren Stauffer School. I've obviously been pushing the idea of removing the styrofoam trays at lunch. $500,000 a year is unacceptable. I realize the school board is thinking, okay, let's move to cardboard or something compostable. Here's a solution that solves not only that problem, but a dozen others. Instead of something disposable at all, children upon entry into East Brunswick school system are given some type of stainless steel canteen. It could be like 2 bowl type things that screw together. This is their lunch kit. They are told, here's your present, and when you come to school, bring this. You will have your lunch served in it. So these bowls could be unscrewed and then nested together, and that would be the bowlish plate thing that lunch is served on. Then children get their lunch, they eat it, they screw it back together, and lunch is over. The waste in that is 0. If there are food scraps, maybe a little compost that could just be scraped into and then even put on site. It's really not much left. I like the idea because it goes from an incredible amount of waste to 0 waste, which is enormous. It reduces how fast the landfill fills. Right now, the landfill will close in 10 years because 100 feet is the limit, and this county is filling it up at 10 feet per year. So getting that down will extend the life of the landfill. Styrofoam trays are bulky and filling the landfill. If we do it in East Brunswick, I can almost guarantee that other counties will be doing the same thing. They are looking for solutions like this. I just spoke with someone this morning in Milltown. Both of their schools have now given students a stainless steel water bottle, and that is what they carry in, that is what they carry out. They're not allowed to have those water bottles. The United States is the world's largest plastic producer and consumer, and then we blame it on everyone else. We push it to China, we try to get rid of it. Stop making it. The way to stop making it is to stop requiring it and stop using it. The things also I like about this proposal would be that it teaches responsibility, accountability, and sustainability to the children. You want lunch, wash a dish. That's not a lot to ask. That's kind of their standing homework. Here's your gift, wash your dish at night. Do you get a grade for your homework? No, you get lunch. This is where people need to go. They need to be responsible and accountable. They can't just have handouts and expect another handout, expect another handout, expect another handout. That's just not a proper adult even. Then the other part that I like about it is that plastic is bankrupting our nation. 500,000 trays is at least 500,000 times, I don't know, 5 cents, 2 cents, whatever amount it is. That money has no return on investment. It is put in a landfill where we pay money to put it in the landfill. And then it's a problem. There's no return on the investment. So what we're doing is we're giving kids a situation where they are in fact
1 minute, ma'am.
causing a monetary loss and an environmental loss, and it is unacceptable. Then the other thing that's nice to kind of hear about is this tray thing. If it's presented the right way, kids will love it. This is their gift from the East Brunswick school system that will last a lifetime. And the beauty is they can go send it off, they can get it engraved. They're creative people. They can make a little carry-all, they carry this. I mean, it's not a bad thing, it's only a good thing. Then if it does catch on and other districts do this, there's a standard size so that people can even bring it to picnics or to takeouts or whatever. This is like what we do in America. We carry our own tray or our own canteen or mess kit. And it's really where we need to go as a town, as a county, and as a nation.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kind of reminds me of the lunch boxes that I used to bring to school, in elementary school. It was lunch box with all the little pieces in it, and you could decorate it and everything. Thank you. Did you have literature on this? Did you have paperwork on this? Was this when you said the project, or was it something that you've been?
Well, it's something I've been working on with some people, including someone at Elijah's Promise in New Brunswick.
Okay.
The idea is zero waste, and keeping it in a bowl shape is very easy to clean,
Okay.
very easy to
Thank you.
deal with.
As we discussed last meeting, Dr. Valesky and his staff have been putting together ideas. I think this is something you could add and vet it,
Right.
talk about it, and we'll be definitely having a presentation before the end of the school year.
Okay, and then just one last thing. If you need funding for this, I have people and contacts where it can be funded.
And what I would urge you to do is, the lovely young lady, as Dr. Valesky always refers to her, in the glasses, sitting over in the side.
Yeah, there's salt and pepper here.
For the premature salt and pepper, Sakins, you give her any information you wanted to about possible funding. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to the board tonight? Seeing none, I close the public portion. Can I please have a motion for Board of Education policies first reading?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Lax.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Hung. Is there any discussion? Will Secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Mr. Sismar?
Yes.
Mr. Hong?
Yes.
Mrs. Lax?
Yes.
Mr. Winston?
Yes.
And President Becker.
Yes, motion carries. Can I please have a motion for personnel actions, item number 1 under the Human Resources agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Lax.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hung. Is there any discussion? Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Mr. Sismar?
Yes.
Mr. Hong?
Yes.
Mrs. Lax?
Yes.
Mr. Winston?
Yes.
President Becker.
Yes, motion carries. Are there any committee reports, information items, good of the cause for the board? Okay, seeing none. We do have a need for a closed session. The Board of Education must discuss matters which are not appropriate for discussion in a public meeting. The Board of Education intends to discuss the matters as follows, those listed in tonight's agenda. The length of the closed session is estimated to be 30 minutes, after which the public meeting of the board shall reconvene and action may be taken. Can I please have a motion for this? Moved by Mr. Winston.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Lax. Is there any discussion?
Go Jeff.
Go Jeff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Prematurely standing up. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We're in closed. Thank you. Good evening.